So, hi everyone. We've been making a series of videos on some of the jargon and some of the needs in robotics and navigation software. We spoke about factor graphs and we spoke about solving them. And we have George, our robot buddy here. I was watching what you were doing, Jim, earlier. You were doing something with a cell phone app and something with these coffee mugs.
Yeah,
so the camera. So
yeah, so we got this project, and we have these coffee mugs, and they have these little tags on them. So I'm trying to use this and add it to our factor graph. So to kind of catch people up, if you haven't watched our previous videos, do you want to explain where we're at with George?
Yeah. Okay. So we're trying to use George as this basic example of I was given a robot, and I want to build a map of my world and my space. And we introduced factor graphs as a way to start representing a little bit of that world and space. And what we've got is George moving along 1, 2, 3, putting down 3 poses or 3 variables in this space, and we're linking it by his wheel odometry. And we produce this graph, this factor graph that we have here. And I believe we spoke briefly about like the uncertainty in that information that exists intrinsically because it's real world and it's robotics. Fair?
Yeah. Yeah, and the robot has a camera, right? So he's going to look at this little thing, and that's what I'm working on.
We have not spoken about that yet.
Yeah. Cool. So what's a little bit different in what I'm working on is, in fact, we're using a cell phone as a robot, because a cell phone's kind of like a robot. It's got a camera. You can move it around. Just like we moved George, we can move our cell phone. So the demo we're working on is use the phone as a robot and then take photographs or video of this tag, and that allows me to do a very cool thing. So this tag is a very special thing. It's called an AprilTag, and it's kind of like a QR code. You know, you go to the restaurant, you take a picture, and then the menu gets pulled up. So there's like information in the tag. So this is a similar type thing, but the information that this tag holds is its location in space. So when the camera takes a picture of it, it knows about how far away it is and a little bit about orientation. So when the cup moves in space, my phone knows that, or if my phone moves in space, then my phone knows that. So that allows us to start to get an awareness of where things are in the real world.
From the camera.
From my camera on my robot or my phone. So that's what I've been working on. But the next step, which I'm going to need your guys' help with, is how do I actually take what I'm working on and put it into this idea of a factor graph?
Sure. So hat tip to the AprilTags libraries guy or guys, I believe.
Yeah, it's open source.
It's open source. It's amazing. The AprilTags library effectively lets you convert just streams of raw images into identified AprilTags. And it tells you that actually I see this AprilTag and it's over there in your camera picture. And if you tell it the size of the tag, it tells you how far away it is, right? So this is really good information. As I'm moving along, what if I see this tag? I just keep feeding my video, or your camera keeps feeding camera information in. And as you do it, you keep seeing the same thing. You feed it through this AprilTag library, and out comes this little value saying, well, actually, I've seen this thing before, it's over there. Next frame, it's over there. Next frame, it's over there. That is incredibly useful information. As George is moving along, if he saw that, you would feed these things in as landmarks, which are reference points in space, in this case, the coffee cup. And you can use that as critical information to effectively work out where you are.
So these tags are simplifying the complexity of what you're seeing.
Yes.
In a cluttered scene, you can pull out the tags, get their position and orientation, and use that for some kind of mapping, localization, navigation result, right?
Right. So we're basically looking at it, and then we're generating a variable for the mug.
Oh, let's go back to our graph.
Yeah, and we have variables of where the robot is, right?
Yes.
So then what do we do to keep building this graph up with this new idea of a landmark, right? A landmark being like an object in space.
In your case, a coffee cup is a perfect landmark, but it could anything. A docking station with a tag above is a beautiful landmark. What if you wanted to find the docking station so you could navigate it, right? There are people that are working on that.
Yeah.
So you can have the tag on the walls, on the roof, that it's stationary, or on objects that move, and you can sort of really sort of simplify the robotics problem by associating tags and these IDs with the job that the robot needs to do.
Yeah, so conceptually, think about, you can take camera information and suddenly you can convert it to landmarks, and you can feed that into your factor graph. In this case, your coffee cup becomes a landmark. In our original graph, hopefully we're putting it up over here, we put a landmark down, and every time we see that landmark, we connect it by a factor saying, I see this over here.
I see. So we have a variable, and there's a factor in between relating the two things.
Yes, and we nearly missed that. Good point.
Yes. Okay, great. But so sort of top secret is I have the actual story is not to use AprilTags. It's like I'm supposed to look at this like teddy bear thing or this other like pot,
YOLO or something.
and I need like all kinds of stuff. And I just didn't really know what to do. So as a good programmer does, I just started somewhere easy with the tags, right? Am I in trouble of not being able to like go and do my actual job?
No, I don't think so, not at all. So if you choose to use factor graphs, what this allows you is you can build these landmarks and poses with a factor between coming from the camera measurement. But if you're developing optical flow or you're using a LiDAR or something else, those are just different variables and different factors that you add onto the graph. And you can mix and match how many factors and variables you have in. And it's the solver's job to get you the best answers, estimates of what comes out of it.
Awesome. That means I get to close my story, and that's really exciting.
Just leave the tag there. It's got so much value. Actually, there's this idea called loop closures, which I think we should discuss in the next video.
All right.
And the tags are very useful for that.
I like that.
Sounds good.
Let's do that one next.
So we'll be talking about this a lot more in May at the ICRA conference. It's May 23rd to 27th.
May 23rd to 27th.
And we'll be going through all of these topics, and you'll probably get to be able to play with this demo that we're working on. So join us there and like and subscribe.